Welcome, I'm Lack of Reason, and this video is about a demo for a game that appeared in the previous Next Fest, as in the one that just happened, I don't know, like probably a month ago now, but has since stayed. So if by the end of this little review you decide you want to try it, you can go ahead as the demo, I was gonna say the demo, no, sorry. The demo is permanent now. And that's, that's pretty much that I wrote for the intro. Honestly, I actually didn't write anything else, like, for this script. So I'm gonna just go off the top of the head, kind of, like, I know what to talk about, but, I'm gonna go off the top of the head. So let me on. Why am I talking about this? Well, because I love this demo. This demo blew my mind, blew my socks off. Everything, man, everything. It's one of those games that just clicks with you, you know? I like, it doesn't happen very often, you know, like, obviously there's a lot of fun games out there and they're really cool, and you get a bunch of hours on them, you get addicted to them and whatnot. But this is one of those games that, like, instantly I was like, oh man, this is like something I never knew I needed. Basically, that's pretty much what happened here with Chip and Clawz versus the Brainioids. Even the name, I think you might already know kind of why it clicked. If you're like, a huge, sort of, like old comic books, cartoons, like PS2, PS3 era games or whatever. That's, I think, like PS2 era games, a little bit of PS3, It's just what it feels like, basically. It feels like a callback to that time. Definitely is. Which the biggest thing I can think about, that I can, like, relate this to is a little bit of, like, Ratchet and Clank, some Jak and is it Dexter? I think Dexter or Daxter, I don't remember. I think it's Jak and Daxter. A really obscure game on the PS3. I think it's obscure. I feel like nobody knows it. I think it's called Eat Them. I don't know if you guys know that one. That one's about, like, basically building, like, robot, or I mean, you basically build monsters, but they have some technology to them. So like, they have a saw arm, they have, like, gun arm, rocket arm, stuff like that. It's really cool. But yeah, that's pretty much what this kind of, like, reminds me of. So I'll get into the whole overview. Before I do that, let me just pop. I don't know if I'll do the intro showing off the gameplay or if I'll do it now. If I do it now, boom, and there we go. It just happened. If it did happen, if it didn't happen, then let's just get into the game overview. To explain basically what the hell you just saw, or like I said, if I put it before the intro, what you saw before the intro. Give me another second to yawn. All right, so game overview. In this game, you play as Chip or Clawz. Chip is this human guy who, he's a little quippy here and there. He's not, like, annoyingly, quippy, but I will say, like, he did repeat, like, a joke a few times. So they definitely need to write more jokes for him, or more lines. So he's not saying the same joke. He repeated it like 3 times in one level at one point, which isn't bad or anything, but it was kind of like, all right, bruh, you know what I mean? So that was kind of funny, but yeah, he's not all quippy, of course, but he's kind of just, honestly, they're both simple characters, but he's a pretty simple guy, basically, to put it that way. Very simple guy. He's just like, let's destroy all Brainioids. That's it. That's the thing. He just loves doing that. That's pretty much his whole thing, and he's a bit silly with it. He makes puns here and there, basically, and he's just like, man, I'm just, I'm Chip. I don't know. He's a fun guy, though. He's a fun guy to be around. And he is smart, but he just chooses to kind of just be simple, basically. Because, I mean, he can still... he can still, like, hack and do smart stuff or whatever the heck, so it's not like a brains in the brawn situation. He's got both. He just pretty much focuses on the brawn, basically. Yeah, that's not the word I was looking for, but whatever, So yeah, simple guy. He looks pretty fly. You know what I mean? His scarf kind of goes hard. If I'm to be honest here. So yeah, then there's Clawz. Clawz, very, very simple. Like I said, they're both pretty simple characters, but she's a robot cat girl. Great combination, if I do say so myself. And I mean, she's, you know, like, oh, you know, I didn't even really talk about their designs. I mean, Chip, like, well, I kind of did. Chip looks good, you know, nothing else to say about that. You know, Clawz, very simple, but she looks nice. Really, it's just like her face and, you know, the big old cat ears. That's the standout here. And I mean, it's just, you know, that classic, like, I don't know how to describe what that face is like, but you've seen it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and she's like the more serious of the two, considering she's like a robot. But she's, you know, she's still a little silly here and there. She's like the tone of the more like the tone of the game is, you know, like silly for the most part. So she's really not all that serious. She has like a little, you know, she has comedic moments here and there because of that, you know. And I mean, yeah, she can be a little silly herself, but for the most part, it's just Chip that fulfills that role. So, you know, it's a nice little balance, really. But yeah, that's pretty much, you know, the characters. There's really not a lot to go off of. This is just a demo. It's literally only like, I think, what, like 6 levels? It's only like 6 levels, you know, not a lot to go off of. Still fun, though. And, man, you know what? I didn't even go that much into them. I mean, to be a little more specific with them, I guess, you know, Chip, he has this cool lightsaber sword. So that's really cool if you want to use, if you want to fight with that, that's dope. Because this is a, you know, action strategy game. So you're not like, there's a bit of RTS to it, not really. It's there, but it's very, very, very simplified. But, you know, it's like it's a combination of the two. So you're running around doing stuff, while also commanding an army of robots, pretty much. So yeah, and there's enemy, and you know, the enemy units you're gonna have to fight as well. So you're gonna be using that lightsaber sword to obliterate them. Same thing with you know, Clawz, except she just has like a hammer basically, which is pretty cool. It's pretty fun to use, and I mean, it's hard to say it's fun to use because the way that the combat works. Like the combat's fun, but it's, you know, it's more like part of a puzzle, you know. The combat alone is pretty whatever, basically, but it being part of a greater puzzle, that's, you know, that's what makes it great, basically, pretty much. So yeah, that's the characters. There are actually other characters, but those are the Brainioid enemies, and I don't actually remember them. I'll probably like show them in a clip right now.
This is Senior Security Officer Cortexa Intella. I order you to take those comm stations down.
Good day, Cortexa. It is I, Neuronimus Bosch.
I know who you are. Cut the pleasantries and deploy your troops.
Patience, officer. I'm almost finished with my breakfast.
Cranium Jarrus reporting for duty.
Salutations, Chief. Welcome to the party.
This ain't no party. Lobbyist wants results. Let's get this over with.
Yeah, there you go. those fellas. So yeah, you know, there's those guys, but you don't really meet them for very long. You know, like I said, this is a demo. It's just a glimpse into how damn, bro. Sorry, it's a glimpse into how amazing this game's gonna be. So hey, you know what I'm saying? Look out for it. But yeah, so let's you know, like I said, this is an overview. So let me just tell you now, basically, you know, how the game goes. Give me a second, I gotta. Anyways, so yeah, to give you a little overview of how it goes. Basically, you either pick, you know, Chip or Clawz, and if you're playing co-op, because this game is 2 players, and you know, if you pick, you know, or basically, yeah, if you're playing co-op, you know, you can switch between the 2 anyways. But like only one person can play as one of them, right? So like, you know, before we started the mission, I was able to, you know, switch between Chip or Clawz. And the only reason any of them, or, you know, Chip or Clawz matters is because they have separate weaponry and abilities. Because obviously you already know they have their melee weapon, right? They have the lightsaber sword and the hammer. But they both have different weapons aside from that. Like they have guns. And you only see one gun in the campaign, but in the versus mode, you have, it basically lets you use all the guns, I guess, currently that they're gonna have in, you know, in the main game. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, so that's basically like the reason that they're different. You know what I mean? Like the melee combat is very simplistic. Literally, you just keep pressing the melee button until the enemy is dead. Like, there's no, like, the longer you are in a combo, the attacks start getting really powerful, and they start doing some cool finisher moves. But that's literally it. There's no, you know, it's not in depth. So that's about as far as the melee combat goes. So that's like the only thing that's basically pretty, you know, for the most part, that's pretty much the thing that's like super simple. And both of them share that. Whereas, you know, both of them have different weapons, because you do have guns, you just need ammo for it. And with the way this, you know, is, you're not going to be able to get the ammo immediately, but you will, you know, be able to get the ammo as soon as you are, you know, at some point during any match. But yeah, so you'll get the ammo, and then you'll be able to use your gun. And Chip, he just has like an assault rifle, and Clawz, she has just like, I don't know, just like a blaster basically. And so yeah, you know, that's pretty much, you know, that's part of the difference. The other difference is that they both have a separate ability from each other, basically. And it's for Chip, he can overdrive. He can basically set units into overdrive, because, like I said, this is part RTS, and part of that is basically you building robots to destroy the enemy HQ. Because you have, like, RTS, you know, you have an HQ, the enemy has an HQ, and just like an RTS, you build resources which allow you to build a big army, which you then use to destroy all the enemy buildings in the way of, you know, to get to their HQ, and then you destroy the HQ and you win. That's pretty much the game overview, and Chip's ability helps that a lot, because he can send the units into overdrive, so they're much faster, pretty much. I don't think they do much more damage or anything. I think they just basically work faster, right? So they'll shoot faster, they'll attack faster, stuff like that. And Clawz, super simple ability, just heals. She just basically heals the units. Simple as that. So that's pretty much the difference, you know, between the two. You do kind of want to decide what you're going to choose. If you're playing solo, then mid-match you can just, you know, well, you don't know, but mid-match you can basically just go to like either your HQ or a respawn point, because there are respawn points you can capture, and I think you can just go in it and switch characters. I'm not completely sure, but you can't. But like at one point, like I did die in versus, and I could switch to a different character during versus. So I think you could probably just go in there, but you can definitely switch when you die. But I think you can just go in the either respawn place or the HQ to switch if you decide, you know, hey, this one like clip Clawz is a better suited for what's happening at the moment. So that's nice. Then, well, actually, that's all I gotta talk about right there, because I already told you pretty much the basis of the gameplay. Like, I mean, I can get a little more specific, like, with at least within like the campaign, you essentially get into a map, and I mean, you know, this is a demo, so most of the campaign is tutorial, except for the final level. The final level is just full on. You already know what to do. So yeah, but I mean, for the final level of this demo will then lead to all the other levels, and they're probably not going to add too much more. I'm sure they will, you know, little challenges here and there in the levels, but for the most part, the gameplay will stay the same. And so essentially, how it happens is, you know, you start in the level, and I think you either have the miner bots already, or you have to go look for a miner bot terminal. But let's just say that you have to basically look for a miner bot terminal and any of the other bot terminals, hack it, which is super simple. You just hold the button, and now you can build the Emperor. Now you can build the buildings that build the Emperor, that build the bots, right? So then you go find Brainium crystals. I'm going to show Brainium crystals there. You go find Brainium crystals. You build a miner bot near it, and then it mines it. And, you know, you can command all robots. Yeah, there's like a little command mode where you go into the air. It's all blue, like sort of like a blueprint type thing. But with the miner bots, they don't really listen to you. They just go to the next crystal, essentially. But every other bot does. And you do have to command the other bots. Otherwise, they'll just go to the next enemy building. And you don't want that, because then they're all just going to get slaughtered. You know, for a lot of the strategy regarding this game is either pretty much creating like a front line and slowly pushing, you know, like at least until you get like a bigger army, or getting the big army that you need and having the front line, you know, be protected by turrets, because you can build turrets, and then sending the army all in one. Like they all have to be bunched up, and then you send them all in one, and then they'll basically bulldoze through the enemy units, because, you know, they're like coming as they're going, basically. So yeah, it's yeah, that's pretty much how that goes for the most part. And so that's pretty well, yeah, that's basically like the basics of how the rest of all the missions are going to be. I mean, they add some stuff here and there that, you know, make it a little more interesting, but that's pretty much the basics of it. So I've told you pretty much how the game, you know, like I've given you the rundown. I'll get into everything else and then get a little more into the specifics of everything, just because that's how people like it. You know, like I'm making this, you know, because I want you to give the game a try. I want this game to succeed, but also because, you know, these are the type of videos I like watching every now and then. You know, I put these videos on when I'm like working on another video or something. You know how it is. So we're gonna move on to graphics. Graphics, yeah, the graphics. It's an art style. I love it. That's just how it is. I mean, there's not a lot to say with the graphics. I mean, I'm not like a professional reviewer. I'm not going to be here like, I can't even imitate them. I don't even know what to say. So yeah, I don't know. I like the graphics, you know, I mean, that's it. The music is not really my taste, but I don't think it's bad. It feels like maybe it's like serviceable. You know what I mean? Like the music is like dubstep, basically. Something like that. I could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like, and it's all right. You know, I was like okay with hearing it, but I'm not really a dubstep fan or anything, so it just did not jive with me. So yeah, simple as that. That's pretty much it. And I mean, you know, there you go. There's really, I'm sorry, there's like not a lot I could say with the music. I mean, I like a lot of types of music, but dubstep's one of the ones that I don't like. So yeah. And that's pretty much it. Characters, I already explained, basically. Sorry, I have this, like I said, I have like a sheet here that tells me everything to talk about. So yeah, and I kind of already went over that. Main gameplay, yeah, I can get a little bit into it. I mean, I already told you pretty much what happens for the most part with the action part of this action strategy. You know, but I'll get a little more specific, and that's that, like, as soon as you load into the map, I mean, there's another system to the game before just loading in, which I guess I'll explain real quick, because it ties into part of what you do when you load in the map. But there's basically a upgrade card system. I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but it's basically a card system, and the cards are basically little like buffs you can have before heading into the mission. You can only have 3 at a time, and you know, they're all pretty good. They're all pretty good, but it depends on you, essentially. You know, you can make sort of like not really a build or anything, but you can lean towards a certain thing with it. You know, you can lean towards having really strong units, or you can lean towards being kind of strong yourself, stuff like that. And it involves, you know, yeah, like these certain units is an elite version of the bot. Like there's an elite miner bot, so now it's, you know, more durable and it mines faster or something like that. You know, elite boxer bots. You know, the boxer bots, which it's a boxer bot because it's like a boxer, just punches enemies. You know, it's more durable, does more damage or something like that. You know, stuff like that. It also has stuff like you start off with 100 more Brainium, which is the main resource. I don't think I've already explained that, but it's the main resource that you use, just like in any other RTS. But it's only one resource here, so it's just Brainium. There's no other resources. There might be more, I don't know, but in the demo at least, it's just Brainium, which is what you get, you know, from, well, you don't know, but you get Brainium by either having miner bots mine Brainium crystals, or there are like basically little craters with floating Brainium above it, so you can just run around and just grab that essentially to get a little bit of Brainium. I think it's like 25 each, you know, grab or whatever the hell. Damn, yeah, it's like 25 each. Anyways, so it's a bunch of little upgrades. One of them's like I think it's like you can build stuff faster or something like that. I can't remember all the card upgrades, but it doesn't really matter. Like you get the point. little buffs to help you in the mission. Oh, like, well, something like you do more damage. I think it's like you do 50% more damage or something like that, or you have more health, stuff like that. You know, it's stuff to help you. And so it went into like part of, you know, the other action part, which is that, yeah, you go around grabbing Brainium, because the Brainium crystals don't regenerate. They are a finite resource. So at some point, if the battle goes on too long, you're going to have to start collecting Brainium yourself instead of just having it, you know, as a passive income or passive resource. So yeah, that's, you gotta be careful of that. You know, that's one thing that this game, I like about this game for sure, is that the resources are finite, so you really got to get it done. You know, otherwise you're going to be struggling later. And that's pretty much it. Then there comes the strategy part, which involves all the robots, but basically you have a command mode that you can activate where you're up above, and you know, your camera goes up above and you can kind of see the whole battlefield, but it's in like a sort of like blueprint type thing, so you can't like it's, you know, it doesn't really look like it looks cool, but I'd rather have just seen it regularly, but whatever. And all you really do is just give a waypoint to units, right? You just tell them to go here, but you can tell, like, you can't tell like specific groups, you can only tell specific units. So you can tell the whole army to go over here, but oh no, you know, the Brainioids built an air unit station just over here, you know, behind your, I don't know, behind some of the buildings you just built, right? So he's gonna be harassing them. You can send you know, you can send air units of your own. They're flybots, right? You can send flybots, specifically all the flybots, to that building and then have them destroy the Brainioid building, right? Stuff like that, right? You can only command a specific, well, you can only command types of bots. You can't command like a group of bots, essentially. That's pretty much as simple as it is. Or you can just, you know, tell them all to go somewhere. But yeah, so you can tell, because there's a bunch of bots. I'll just name them all real quick. There's boxer bots, basic melee guys. Shooter bots, just basic ranged guys. You know, they all look cool. There's artillery bots, my favorite bots, because, you know, the giant missiles or whatever the hell. It's funny. Then there's the fly bots, and I mean, I think that's actually it. I might be missing one. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, if I'm missing one, I'll just show it, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Right, so those are pretty much all the bots. I mean, yeah, there's a turret, but I mean, I don't know, whatever, we'll count them. And so yeah, I mean, you can't command the turret or anything though. Turret's just automatic, but yeah, you command all the bots to go, you know, places. That's pretty much it. And yeah, I don't want to repeat myself. So it's as simple as it gets. You know, like I said, it's a combination. The RTS part isn't all that satisfying. It's a combination of everything that makes the game fun, essentially. Although obviously, you know, it would be great if everything else was, you know, amazing, but maybe that would be too much, right? Maybe it wouldn't be able to work that way. It might be too much of everything. You know, too deep into action, too deep into strategy, that type of thing. So I feel like this combo works. Simple but fun. That's what I feel like. That's why I like this. So yeah. And that's pretty much it for the most part. You know, like there's some stuff I haven't discussed with the campaign, but it's not really all that relevant. Like there's like two extra buildings. Like there's a structure that is like a statue, and if you fill it up with enough Brainium, which is usually like 600, all it does is just help you progress in the campaign. That's pretty much it. Like it just, like, I mean, what I mean is, like, you know, you're in a level, you're in a mission or whatever, and there's like a statue you got to fill it with Brainium. Usually it's just at once you fill it up, a bridge that was previously like closed off, now it opens up or whatever, or something like that. You know, stuff like that. So that doesn't really matter. I mentioned anything that's pretty much relevant. Like you're gonna, you know, that's not something you need to figure out or anything. So yeah, that's pretty much it actually. Yeah, like there's the versus mode, and the only thing that one really adds is there's a new building which is just a wall essentially, so you can just wall off a place, and you know they have to destroy it to get through it. There's the other weapons, which I don't remember every weapon, but you know the other weapons are something like a grenade launcher, a sniper, a flamethrower, and one more. I don't remember what the other one is, but they're cool. You know, I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty fun. But yeah. You know what? I did forget something. Thank you. The mobility building. So there is a structure that there's like a building you can build that is part mobility, part like enhancement, essentially. So for Chip, if you build the building, well, not if you build the building, but because it's a co-op game, so you get both. But it has a vehicle for Chip, and for Clawz, he gets basically like, I don't know, an enhancement to her body or something like that. And so for Chip, yeah, he's basically in a vehicle, so he can get around real quick around the battlefield, essentially. And I think he can even do a double jump with it. So, but it's not like obviously that high. It's usually just you kind of ramp off with it, that kind of thing. But yeah, so he gets that mobility there. He can still do some stuff in the vehicle, but for the most part, he can't do a lot, obviously, because he's driving it. But he can overdrive units, so that's a nice little bonus. And for Clawz, she basically gets the enhancements, so she can run a little faster now. It's definitely noticeable, but it's not like you're not speeding around or anything. It's just like she's a little more faster, pretty much. That's the best way to put it. But that's not the main part. I think the main part is that she has now jet boots, so she basically just jumps really high now, or not jumps, but she can double jump pretty high, essentially. And I think she does more damage, if I'm correct. I don't remember exactly, but I think that's pretty much the bonus with her. So obviously it's probably, I don't know if it's as fun, it's on you if it's as fun as like riding in the mortar bike, or the hover bike or whatever, but it's still cool, and I played as her with it, and it's pretty nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, aside from the fact that the garage, which is it's the one that has the bike and the enhancement suit, and the arsenal, they're like unique in that they have limited uses, basically, and once you use them all, they get destroyed. That's the only last fact. Well, there's another one, which is like the star system. The star system, I don't even know what it does though. So yeah, and I guess in the verses, it should be obvious, but you play as the Brainioids in the verses as well, or you can, basically, right? You can play as Chip or Clawz versus the Brainioids. So yeah, and the Brainioids are cool. Don't get me wrong, they're pretty cool. Honestly, that was one thing I definitely forgot, man. So I should have scripted this, but I forgot to talk about the Brainioids, man. The Brainioids are awesome, man. I love their design and everything, like brain in jars and everything. Like that's freaking awesome. That takes you back. If you ever seen, Aliens, that's a classic depiction of them. So yeah, that was pretty fun to see. I like that, and I do like their design, and I do actually like the generals. They're pretty fun. Overall, man, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I need to talk about. And overall, in conclusion, this game is fucking awesome. Damn, I try not to curse, guys. Sorry, but this game is awesome. I love this game. I fell in love with this game from even just the demo. Yeah, this game is awesome. I don't really want to go with a rating system. I don't know if I'm going to do any more other gaming reviews, but if I do, I'm not really going to go with a rating system. That's just kind of lame to me. It's okay for everyone else to do it, it's whatever, right? But I'd like to kind of just describe it all, and you take away from what I'm talking about and how I'm talking about it. Like, I don't need to tell you though that I love this game, and then obviously I recommend it, and I think it's freaking great. If you wanted me to give it a rating, 10 out of 10, sorry, 10 out of 10, and that's what it is, man. I love it, and I played it with my brother, by the way, so obviously I had more fun as well, but he gave it a 10 out of 10 too. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I'm hoping that I'm gonna be able to edit the hell out of this thing, make it really great, and that you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy it, you already know what to do, man. If you want to see more, you already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. But that's only if you enjoyed it, right? You don't have to, man. You do whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The developers are really cool. I don't know them. I don't know them personally or anything. I have not interacted with them. I'm just saying they're cool because, they made a dope game. And I think actually this game was made from one of the people who, like, because it has the tagline of, from the creator of XCOM or whatever the hell. Let me see. Let me go to the store real quick. It should have it. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah, from the creator of XCOM, Julian Gollop, comes Chip and Clawz versus the Brainioids, a unique blend of third-person action and real-time strategy. Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of wild. Like, it is random and wild, honestly. Like, because this game there's XCOM and then there's this game. So, yeah, I don't really know if he's the creator. Maybe he is. I don't know XCOM. But actually, I will start playing that game on my channel, though, because I feel like it made for good content. Because my little bro, he loves the XCOM games. And it's like the hardest I've ever heard him, like, rage. He really doesn't rage, you know, like, at all. But whenever he does rage, it's pretty funny, honestly. And those are the hardest times I've heard him rage, essentially. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to hop on for it at some point. Make some videos on it. I mean, obviously, I'm going to try and beat the whole game and everything, but... yeah, so that's also an interesting fact, in case you didn't know that. But yeah, so there you go. That's all I gotta say now. You know, I already kind of said the outro, so I don't really have an outro, to be honest. So hey, I hope you have a great day, and you know, I'll see you later, man.